Okay, so just behind me, you can see the BBC Sounds website, and there's Kate Clark on there, who I've just done an interview with for BBC Radio Gloucestershire. And so I'm going to edit it and put it on this video in a minute. But I just thought I'd make a little comment about local radio and what's happening with it. So I was chatting to Kate off air before I did the interview, and she was just. I've sort of known Kate for a long time. She's a local radio reporter who covers local news, and sometimes she invites me on the programme to chat about farming and things. And she was telling me, because of the local radio cuts, that she may no longer be doing her sort of local pieces that she does on Radio Gloucestershire, and she's actually going to have to reapply for a job because there are significant cuts coming to local radio. Now, I've been thinking about this, and I actually can't believe really what they're really hoping to do. So, as far as I'm aware, and what I've been reading online, is that the cuts will now mean that local radio stations in perhaps your area where you live will only, BBC local radio stations will only actually have properly local content from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after which they'll be sharing programmes. Now, the BBC have already cut the evening broadcasts on local radio. They're now cutting back on the local radio broadcasts in the afternoon. So really, you're only getting a very small amount of really truly local radio left if they implement all these cuts. Now, I can't help but think that that is a really bad move. Local radio is actually really good for a community and to, share the things that go on in people's area. There isn't anything else quite like it. If you want to listen to a lot of the other local radio stations, they're flipping, I don't know, Jack FM or whatever, playing just a load of hits with a load of commercial in between. There's no real proper, people like myself who go on there and will talk about what's going on in the area. And really, I think the BBC's role is to inform and educate, if you like. It's not, their primary role shouldn't be running stuff like BBC Three and chucking on Strictly all the time. Their primary role is to help people in local radio, local television, and to maybe just distribute information about those local areas, if you like. To sort of dismantle that local radio, I think is a really backward step, and I'm really saddened to hear that is really what is planned at the moment. My role on local radio myself, I've been doing probably over 10 years. I've been doing things with Radio Bristol and Radio Gloucestershire, and perhaps this could be the last time I do some stuff for local radio. I don't know, because there certainly isn't going to be the staffing there and the coverage that there was. Some people will be glad glad that I'm not on Radio Bristol or Gloucester, perhaps, but I think it needs to be looked at in great depth before you just throw away something that a network of communication like that has been built up over decades. So anyway, that's just my little piece. I thought I'd just say before we get back up. Here we go. Anyway, here we are. Here's the bit I was doing earlier on Radio Gloucestershire.
Maybe New Year's Day and a holiday and a rest time for most of us. But for some people, like farmers, they rarely get a day off. There are animals to feed, there's jobs to be done. And one man who I bet has been up for hours is Richard Cornock, a dairy farmer in Wootton-under-Edge. He's got a YouTube channel and he's called The Funky Farmer on YouTube. And he's got 145,000 subscribers. So he's doing something right. He joins me on the line. Hi, Richard.
Morning, Kate.
Tell me, what time did you get up this morning then?
Oh, well, I was up at 5:30 this morning, actually.
Ooh. And what time did you go to bed?
Oh, a late one. It was about 1 o'clock, actually.
Oh, so are you able to get a nap as soon as you put the phone down? Are you going back to bed?
Well, do you know what I said to my wife? I said, I then have a little rest, because you know what it's like. Once you have that little rest, you feel terrible, don't you?
Yeah.
If you keep going, I've come in from milking. I came in about 9 o'clock this morning, and I knew I was coming on the radio with you, so I stayed up. But I might have a little lie down
Oh,
later.
man, you've got to do it, seriously. Otherwise, it's going to be hell tomorrow, isn't it?
Well,
So,
that's right.
what does a dairy farmer do then on New Year's Day? What jobs have you had to do already?
Well, so I had a chap coming in called Tim come and help me this morning with the milking. So while he was milking, I was in the back, what we call the backyard. I was cleaning up the cattle, scraping the muck out, bedding them down, and then I had to go around and feed every animal around, because this time of year all the cattle are inside. So for us, that's about 130 cattle, young stock and old stock, if you like. So we have to make sure they're all bedded down with fresh straw in the morning, and put out the feed for them for the morning. So basically, they have their breakfast before us every morning. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, you got to make sure they're all right before you're all right.
That's right.
Do you get any time off over Christmas?
Yeah, well, I run the farm with my brother Tom, and we do have a chap who comes in to help us. So we sort of run a bit of a tag team. So we sort of take it in turns, having an afternoon off or a morning. And it's quite funny. Christmas Day, we've got a sort of unwritten rule. One of us one year has the afternoon off, and the other one does the morning. And then the following year, we swap it around. So one does the morning, one does the afternoon, so that we get time with our families and stuff. But the farm doesn't stop the whole of Christmas, so we just have to keep going and just keep work to a minimum, if you like.
Yeah. Now, we had a really cold snap, didn't we, in December? 2 weeks of just sub-zero temperatures. I've been watching a few videos of your YouTube recently, and I was quite impressed with something. It must be a real technical piece of equipment there. It's not a thermometer, it's a turdometer. I said it on the radio.
Oh, dear. We won't go into too graphic details, but basically the cow muck. I can't believe you watched that, Kate. The cow muck absolutely. It was -9 and it froze solid, and so with my hammer I could go round and I could hit a lump of cow muck, and it would actually be like a solid lump of rock, wouldn't it? If you've seen the video.
Yeah. I'd like it to make a little ding. Ding! You could line up different sizes of turds and see what sort of...
Yes. I'm glad you're saying this on the radio, because I wouldn't know whether I'd be allowed to. But
well,
it's froze solid, and that's a big lump of poo, that is, when it's frozen.
Yeah, but seriously though, working on the farm in those conditions, I mean, because some jobs you can't wear gloves for, can you?
Yeah.
So you must have red raw hands.
Well, I think that the worst thing for me was my feet, actually. I didn't have my thermal wellies on for the first couple of days, and I bought some new ones, thankfully, now, but my feet got so cold. I had chilblains. I don't really know what they're like, but you get lumps on your feet where they swell up. My feet were absolutely freezing, and your hands are cold. The problem is that I didn't, when it gets that cold, -9, you don't really want to be outside working. But the thing is, you have to keep looking after the animals. And our biggest problem, and anyone with livestock will appreciate this, is that the water troughs freeze. So then there's no fresh water running for the cattle, and so we had to transport water to quite a few animals from an area that wasn't frozen. We had to put it into containers and fill the troughs where the other cattle were, where it was frozen. So that made life a bit difficult, really.
Yeah, that does sound really difficult. I mean, there must be some parts of the world, though, that have got something in place that can deal with sub-zero temperatures and water troughs. Is there some sort of thermal trough that's available?
I think the problem with this country, if you can say it's a problem, is the fact that we're not geared up for regular cold spells. So, if we had -9 every year on the farm, I'm sure I would probably spend my time making sure that all the troughs were super insulated. But because it's a relatively rare occurrence, you don't sort of tend to worry about it. And then when it freezes, you deal with it then. And then you think, well, I won't worry about that for another 5 years because it won't happen again.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? So what jobs have you got to do today once you've had a little sleep? What else have you...
Power nap. Well, actually, I'm off this afternoon, but we've got... all our fields or half of our fields are underwater at the moment because of all the rain we've had. The lower fields are completely underwater, so I'm going to go down this afternoon and have a little wander around that and see how bad they are. Luckily all the cattle are inside for winter, but it looks like we've got a lake down there rather
Oh
than
my
fields.
goodness, we've had
We've had
so
a lot
much
of rain,
rain.
haven't we?
Yeah, in November, it just felt like the whole of November and December were just so unbelievably wet. And you've got your YouTube channel. You're the Funky Farmer on YouTube. Have you got anything fun and exciting? Because I know that you sometimes like to do really wacky things,
Well,
don't
I've
you?
just done so all through January, because we've got this January, veganuary or whatever you call it. I like to do an antidote for that for those who like meat. So I do videos called Make It Meat Monday. Every Monday I cook something meaty. And you've got to laugh, Kate, because being Christmas, I forgot what day of the week it was. So my video for Make It Meat Monday that was supposed to come out tomorrow, it actually came out this morning.
Oh, right.
And it's with another YouTube, it's another Instagram and TikTok. He's a food vlogger, a guy called Jack. He goes around Bristol and tries, or in Gloucestershire, around Gloucester, tries all different foods. So I got him to come and test one of my burgers.
Oh, right. Okay,
So
and did he like
a
it?
homemade burger, and
Yeah.
he came and tried it. That's a video that went out this morning.
For Meaty Sunday instead of Meaty Monday?
Yeah, I've got to call it a bit late. You know what it's like, Kate. It's hard to tell what day of the week it is.
Don't know what day it is. I know. Absolutely. Well, we all know today is New Year's Day. It's the 1st of January. So just enough time for me to wish you a very happy new year. I hope 2023 is prosperous and you have a lovely, healthy new year. And love to all your family and your cows, of course, as well.
And I hope to get you down on the farm sometime this year. We've got these bees. I think you need to come down and help us extract the honey on that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That'd be good,
Do you do that in, August time or something?
Well, I think my friend who has the beehives, I think the first lot will be just after the oilseed rape, so probably May time perhaps, I don't know.
Let's get something in the diary, the nice new fresh diary.
Gloucestershire honey on your toast.
Beautiful. Richard, thanks ever so much. Take care. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.